Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here in our quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea, and this is the show where we talk about the things that we love, movies and movie news, TV and streaming, all that good stuff. Joining me from the secret location of his Robservatory, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert, how you doing today, sir?
I'm here in my underground bunker. I need all the space above me to protect from, bombing or lasers or aliens.
Oh, I thought so. You got your own little paradise bunker?
You know what? Without the tracking sun, but yes.
Without the artificial sun. But most importantly, of course, guys, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. And here's how today's show's going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a number of predetermined topics we got lined up for you guys. Then in the second part of the show is the most important part. That's when we take your live comments and questions. If you guys have a thought, theory, opinion, question, observation you'd like us to address, go ahead and fire it on into the super chat feature in the live chat. And as long as it's appropriate to be addressed on the show, we'll address it in the second part of the show. All right, guys. With all that down, let's get things started off here, shall we? And we're going to start off with this. You know what was awesome? The Batman. The Batman was awesome. I mean, the trailer looked great for it. I mean, a lot of people had a lot of questions with the fact that they had Robert Pattinson, Twilight Boy, as Batman all cars. But the movie ended up being spectacular. I thought a little too long. Like, I thought they could have trimmed it down a little bit. But overall, it was fantastic. Huge financial success as it got around, what was it again, Rob? Like $800 million or close to 800 or just over 800, somewhere around that. The fans loved it. The critics loved it, all that kind of stuff. But it has created a problem in the sense of everybody's been asking, well, where the hell is the Batman Part 2? Now, we heard the script got finished and they're looking at starting, but now we might actually have our first piece of what could be classified as kind of concrete news, as it now looks that we know when they're actually going to start shooting, and it's soon. This comes to us from the folks over at Superhero Hype, who write the following. The Batman 2 will reportedly begin filming on May 29th. That's just in a couple of months, 2026, in London, as per a new report. This report comes from Page 6, who cited sources that said the sequel was fully cast and ready to go. It aligns with what Variety had already reported last month when they said they believed that the shooting would begin by the end of May. So, Rob, it looks like all the dominoes are falling into place here. It looks like they have, their plan. It looks like everything's all set and ready to go. I mean, it has been a while. So, Rob, let me ask you this. Where's your anticipation level like for the Batman? How well do you think it'll do? Do you sense people have been waiting for it? And do you think not terribly long wait, but the longer than we expected wait for the sequel is going to have any impact on it or not? What do you think?
Well, no, I think that first of all, I think we all love that film. I mean, I really like the fact that it leaned more into the detective side of the Dark Knight detective. And I really enjoyed Pattinson's portrayal, and I really loved all the secondary characters and how they were portrayed. And then, of course, it gave us the great HBO series Penguin, which also was a continuation of that universe. So I think there's a lot of anticipation for this new version, the second film of I guess it's going to be called The Batman 2 so far.
Maybe the Batman Part 2 or something like that.
Part 2, it'll have, I think, maybe a cool subtitle. So I do think that there's a lot of anticipation for it because it's very much, look, they were certainly shooting for the fences on that one. And I think they did a phenomenal job. I really liked what Matt Reeves and company did. I thought it was a beautifully made film. So I think there will be a lot of people anticipating it. I like the fact that we've seen multiple different versions of Batman on screen since '89. Well, actually, if you want to go back to the '66 feature Batman.
My God.
But there's always, even Batman and Robin, for as bad as that movie is, there's a lot of stuff in it that I liked looking at. And I really do. Nolan's Batman's different than Matt Reeves' Batman. And I think that we've been eating good when it comes to Batman on screen in the 21st century. So I'm really looking forward to this, to be honest. So
Do
I'm
you think the
expecting.
long wait is going to affect people's response to it?
I don't think so. I think because these movies are in constant rotation, people are always watching Batman movies. I think whether it's Batman the animated series, whether it's Nolan's Batman, whether it's Reeves' Batman, whether it's Michael Keaton or Val Kilmer or George Clooney's Batman, I think people are always watching Batman or Zack Snyder's Batman, certainly. So I think that Batman is one of those brands that will always have audiences' attention.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, it sounds like now we actually have a firmed up starting shoot date. I mean, the movie is coming out in, I believe, October of 2027. So they do have to get this thing shooting soon. But now it's becoming tangible. They're apparently going to start shooting this thing really damn soon. Now we have a date for it. What do you guys think? Are you looking forward to the Batman Part 2? If so, do you think the long wait is going to turn some people off of it? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, it was with a lot of anticipation that people were excited to see that Daredevil with Charlie Cox from the Netflix series was coming into the Marvel Cinematic Universe and was going to be a part of the MCU. So Daredevil Born Again was born and had its first season. And listen, while people like me don't necessarily feel like Daredevil Born Again season 1 was quite up to the same standard as the quality overall level that we had on the Netflix series, it was still really good. Like, I still thoroughly enjoyed it. Actually, I think I enjoyed it more than most people did because, like, there was even that one episode they had with the bank heist. And I know a lot of people didn't like that episode. I thought the episode was great. I thought it added some new depth and dimensions to some of the characters that we had. I just really enjoyed it. And I know most other people didn't, but that's fine. But I think most people did end up enjoying Daredevil Born Again season 1 to one degree or another. Now, the show is coming out really soon, and they haven't been doing a lot of marketing for it. As a matter of fact, Rob, I don't know if you noticed, but I've had a bunch of people writing in saying, where's the marketing for Daredevil season 2? Where's the marketing for Daredevil season 2? Well, we've now gotten some more marketing for Daredevil season 2. As is being reported around, Daredevil Born Again season 2 trailer reveals Jessica Jones and Matt Murdock's brutal action-packed team up. Now, it should be said it was just a TV spot. I believe it was like a 30-second TV spot. But I'll tell you what, as I watched it, it felt like a full trailer. Like, when it was done, and I watched it again, and then I went in to start pulling some stills like this one here, I thought I had the wrong video at first because I looked down at the timer and it said it's a 30-second video. And I just watched it twice. I thought, what, this has to be the right, that wasn't a 30-second spot. But sure enough, it was a 30-second TV spot. And I got to say, I thought it was great. Now listen, I'm not a big Jessica Jones fan. I'm one of the few people I know who didn't really like the Jessica Jones series. That being said, I thought it was interesting that they were bringing her over into Daredevil as well. And I got to say, she fits in. And I think it's going to be really fun watching the two of them team up again. Maybe at some point we'll get the full Defenders again. Mike Colter has been teasing that he might be up for coming back as Luke Cage. And we know that the guy who played Iron Fist has basically been telling anybody who would listen for the last 3 or 4 years that he would love to come back and play Iron Fist again. So I don't know, maybe we'll get the whole gang back together. But it showed some of the brutality in it, the violence. Rob, there's this great shot in it of Kingpin boxing somebody for some reason and like blooding them up and beating them pretty bad. We didn't get, I don't think we got a Punisher shot in it now that I think about it. Oh, that's because of course Punisher's not in it this season. Yeah, of course. Anyway, I thought overall looked really good for a TV spot, 30-second spot. I'm kind of excited. I think this is going to be the beginning of them ramping up the promotion for Daredevil season 2. Anyway, Rob, you had a chance to take a look at the trailer. What did you think about it?
What's not to? I do love Jessica Jones. So, What's not to love? I'm excited. Like I I I always was under the impression that these 18 episodes were all done together. When they were originally going to do the version that they revamped, it was always going to be 18 episodes. So I have an anticipation that we've been saying on this show, or I've been saying that it's going to go like this in the back half of this, call it, well, 2 seasons, but the back half of the season, I think we're really going to get some great stuff with this show. I think the temperature is going to be it's going to be hot, man. Hot, hot, hot. And I really look forward to this. And even that, like you said, that little teaser, it did it for me, man. I'm ready. I am ready to see Matt Murdock and Kingpin. I'm expecting a clash for the ages by the time we get to the end of this, because I think both men are going to be born again.
Oh, now this raises an interesting point. There was a report that came out, I think last week, that in season 3, because remember, they're going to start shooting season 3 not long from now. They've already announced season 3 is going to be out next year. Again, a welcome change to the streaming patterns of having to wait 2 or 3 years in between every series to actually having a new season every year, which is absolutely awesome. But there was a report that came out that was suggesting that Kingpin in season 3 may not actually be the antagonist anymore, that they might actually diminish his role a bit. He might not even be there. Like he could go completely to the background or something like that. Do you think that tells us about what kind of resolution we're going to get to this season? How do you see this season playing out in light of the rumors and reports we've heard about what could be happening in season 3?
Well, I would think that, so if there's a anti-vigilante squad and Daredevil needs to gather together vigilantes, I'm expecting a big clash of the Titans. And of course, there's always the possibility with Daredevil of ninjas, which you just never know. If the hand's going to show up or Elektra's going to show up, you just don't know, John. But I would imagine that it will probably end with Wilson Fisk being taken out of the mayor's office. He's no longer going to be the mayor of New York. Or maybe he stays the mayor of New York. But I would think maybe not. And if he does stay as the mayor of New York, I can see him taking a step back from being more of an antagonist. But I would imagine he's going to be taken off the board, I think.
Yeah. Here's the funny thing. I'm kind of torn on that whole thing when I heard about that, we might not either have Kingpin in season 3 or his role could be diminished. Because on the one hand, it is very difficult for me to imagine having a Daredevil season without Vincent D'Onofrio. Like it's almost like to me, it's not even Daredevil anymore, even though Daredevil will still be there. Like to me, Daredevil is Daredevil and Wilson Fisk.
Totally.
That being said, I think, well, if you can't have the Joker be the villain of every Batman movie, you can have him be the villain in a bunch of them, but he can't be the villain in every single Batman movie. And like, at some point, do we need to have Daredevil actually having a different main antagonist? Like, yeah, they can throw in all these little, like Bullseye, and they can slip in Jigsaw, and they can slip in, different things on the different shows like Punisher. You can do that, but to have your main guy, maybe they need it to change it up. Again, I don't know how I feel about it. Like, if you were in charge over there, would you have Wilson Fisk continuing to be the main foil, or would you want to maybe change it up a little bit and have a different character be the main villain for Daredevil to face?
Well, we will have had 5 seasons after this season's over where Wilson Fisk has played a large role. So he's in this particular show, he is definitely a big part of it. So to diminish him, I think would be fairly noticeable. However, if they leave it off in a place where Wilson Fisk has to go away, or he's deposed, or something happens, and there's somebody else that comes into town, I mean, I don't know, like a Typhoid Mary or something, you could do something different. But I really do think that the core of this Daredevil show is the tension between Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio. I mean, that frisson between the two of them is really, it's great television. So I think the show would be diminished. However, if the Born Again storyline is different and they tell us from the get that season 3 is a new story, like if it's Daredevil, blah, 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 not Born Again, but something else, then I think the expectation is changed that we could see something different and bring in another one of Daredevil's rogues gallery to go up against him.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? Have you had a chance to see the new Daredevil promo for season 2? I actually thought it looked really good, and I'm actually even warming up to Jessica Jones being in there. Anyway, whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, a little animated film came out a little bit ago that wasn't part of a big IP, didn't look like a big Disney thing, and it was The Wild Robot. And this movie, I'll go on to say, not just like one of the best animated, I think it was one of the best movies of the year. Like when you talk about, and I often do, movies being experiential events, that they're designed to make you feel. And there's a lot of different things movies can make you feel. Scared, humorous, tense, whatever. But Wild Robot ended up being this beautiful surprise movie that was not only delightful and funny and charming, but oh my God, it made me feel. Like just the warmth and all that kind of stuff. It was just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful film. Now, I'm not somebody who ever read the book. As a matter of fact, full disclosure, before the movie got announced, I didn't even know there was a book called The Wild Robot. I didn't know about it. So that's all fine too. But, you know, I didn't know there was one. But when the movie ended, I was like, okay, that's it. I mean, it wraps up perfectly. It doesn't really seem like there's much other places to go. Done. But according to reports now, a sequel to The Wild Robot is finally moving forward. The folks over at Gizmodo write the following. Time to touch the sky. Wild Robot fans, news of its sequel is finally here, and we couldn't be more excited. Released in 2024, The Wild Robot was IO9's pick for the best film of the year, based on a novel by Peter Brown and written directed by animation-level Chris Sanders. It's a stunning work and brought us immense joy. Now the Wrap reports that Brown's second book in the series, The Wild Robot Escapes, I didn't even know there was a sequel book, just like I didn't know there was a first book, The Wild Robot Escapes is in development from DreamWorks Animation, but Sanders won't return to direct. He's adapting the screenplay himself and handing the reins over to Tony, I hope I'm pronouncing this name right, Quain, one of the directors who made Nimona. The head of story in the first film, Heidi Jo Gilbert, will be a co-director. Now, it describes the second book like this. In the second novel, Roz, the robot, is assigned to a dairy farm where she eventually reveals to the animals there that she's more than just a robot. Things take a turn, of course they do, and her son, Bright Bill, returns to help save her and the other animals. You know, Rob, I'm not normally one to get super psyched about animation sequels. I mean, listen, I love me good animated films, but, you know, I'm not always looking for the next sequel to a bunch of them. And I never expected, like straight up, I never expected that we would ever get a sequel to The Wild Robot. And yet here we are. It was a movie that just moved me so much, and I never thought about getting a sequel. And then as soon as I read the headline today, getting a sequel, my heart was filled with joy. I just want to go back and hang out with that character some more, see the dynamics of the relationships she forms. I just love this. I don't know anything about the second book other than what Gizmodo is reporting here, but I love this. I don't think it's going to be $1 billion film, but I think with the popularity and success and how much it caught people's attention, the first one, I think you're going to see this one be really successful. Anyway, Rob, you read this news. What do you think about them doing? And is it a good idea to do a Wild Robot too?
Come on. The Wild Robot was wonderful. It was a terrific film. And like you, I knew it was based on a book, but I didn't know there was a sequel. And I think if they can keep that level of creativity and that level of quality, I mean, it's one of the talk about 21st century. It's one of the great animated films of the 21st century. And I would love to see this movie get a sequel, especially if the book is good. I would assume it is since they're moving forward on it. So I think this is great news for fans of the film, and what's not to love, really?
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Are you as surprised as I am that they're doing a Wild Robot 2? I never would have guessed that they would do it, but I'm really glad they are. Are you excited about it? Maybe you're one of the people who didn't even see it the first time it was out. Whatever you guys think about this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. Listen, we still got a number of things that we need to talk about here today, including some whispers about when we can actually get the trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day. And speaking of which, with it coming up now, we're less than 5 months away. We're just 4 months and change away from the movie coming out. We thought it would be a good time to take inventory and start going down through everything that we know about the film so far and all the major rumors about it so far. But listen, before we do that, there are still a lot of other things going on in the world of movies and entertainment that we simply don't have time to talk about in depth here. But we want to make sure you guys are caught up. And that's why we have this little installment called In Other News. First up, the great Patrick Stewart is coming to civilize us uncultured swine. The Star Trek and X-Men legend has officially announced a new audiobook project titled Patrick Stewart Performs the Complete Sonnets of William Shakespeare, set to release on April 7th, 2026. Now, this project actually grew out of his viral pandemic series where he read a sonnet a day, to help fans through the lockdown. This definitive collection from Simon & Schuster will include all 154 sonnets along with personal anecdotes and reflections from Stewart himself, making it a must-have for both Shakespeare fans and Trekkies alike. Next up, we all know far too well how expensive streaming has been getting, so it's at least nice when we see at least a little bit of a deal drop. For a very limited time now, from here till March 24th, Disney Plus and Hulu are offering their ad-supported bundle for just $4.99 a month for the first 3 months. Now, it's not forever, it's not fantastic, but it's something. This comes just in time for big premieres like Daredevil Born Again Season 2. It's clearly a move to boost subscriber numbers for their combined app experience, so if you're looking to save a little bit of money on your monthly bills, this might be for you. Next up, we have some casting news for Keanu Reeves' upcoming sci-fi action flick. Kaylee Cook, who many of you will recognize from the high-octane hit F1, has officially landed the female lead in the new time loop thriller directed by Deadpool's Tim Miller. Keanu stars as a smuggler trapped in a Groundhog Day-style loop in the Caribbean, where he has to fight off mercenaries and sharks over and over again. Cook is set to play a scientist who will likely be the key to Keanu's character breaking the cycle. The project is currently being described as, get this, Edge of Tomorrow meets The Shallows, and honestly, I am 100% sold. Sign me up. Next up, legendary director Peter Jackson is heading to the French Riviera. The Cannes Film Festival has announced that the Lord of the Rings mastermind will receive an honorary Palme d'Or at the opening ceremony of the 79th edition this May. This is honestly a huge full-circle moment for Jackson, who famously screened a 26-minute preview of The Fellowship of the Ring at Cannes back in 2001 to convince skeptical distributors. The festival is honoring him for his technological audacity and his ability to blend massive Hollywood blockbusters with an auteur's vision. It's a well-deserved tribute to a man who literally changed the way we look at fantasy cinema forever. And honestly, I'm kind of starting to get excited for The Hunt for Gollum. And finally, for all the book lovers out there, you finally have your Sadie Green. Daisy Edgar Jones has just been cast as the lead in Paramount's adaptation of the global bestseller Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. The film is said to follow two childhood friends who become creative partners in the high-stakes world of video game design over several decades. Daisy herself has been on a roll with hits like Twisters and Normal People, and fans of the novel are already buzzing about her take on such a complex and brilliant character. And that'll do it for In Other News. And that's your In Other News segment for the day, getting you guys all caught up on other things going on in the world of entertainment, and I hope you enjoyed that. All right, with that down all, guys, let's move on to this, shall we? Spider-Man Brand New Day, March, April, May, June, it's like just a little over 4 months away now. It's coming. We're within the realm now. If you guys know, I've said for years that movies start marketing their films far too early. And really, they shouldn't be start marketing, with a few exceptions, outside of 5 months. But we're inside of 5 months now, and we haven't had really any beginning to the marketing push for Spider-Man Brand New Day, which has brought up a lot of questions about when are they going to start dropping trailers? Like, when are we going to start getting things? Well, there's a new report out suggesting that there are two options that Sony is looking at for their marketing campaign. Now, I'm sure they've got their answer by now, but that the two main options that they're weighing for a Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer are this. Number one, dropping it with Project Hail Mary, which is, of course, coming out in just a little over a week now. Option A, this coming to us from the Direct, writing, would see Spider-Man Brand New Day's first trailer play exclusively in theaters in front of Project Hail Mary on March 20th before hitting the internet at the start of the next week. But if Avengers Doomsday's theatrical exclusive teasers have proven anything, it would likely leak online over the weekend. Now, if you're like me, and I've thought about that when I first heard the whispers about them maybe putting the Spider-Man trailer with Project Hail Mary, my first thought was, well, why would they do that? It's not a Sony film. It's an Amazon film. And so I don't really see the connection there. But there's a couple things I overlooked, which the Direct points out here. Sony Pictures does have a stake in Project Hail Mary, as while it's being distributed by Amazon MGM Studios in the US, the Spider-Man studio, Sony, is assuming that responsibility for distributing internationally. Furthermore, the Ryan Gosling sci-fi pick is actually produced by Amy Pascal and Pascal Pictures, who are obviously also producers on Spider-Man Brand New Day. So on that level, okay, so there is connective tissue there between Spider-Man Brand New Day from a studio level and Project Hail Mary. Okay, that would kind of make sense. I could see that happening. And you know what? The timing would be perfect. We'd be about 4.5 months away from the release of Spider-Man. That would make sense. However, the other kind of whispers going around is that Sony is going to try to make a big splash with their first trailer at CinemaCon in April next month. So you'd be about 3.5, 3.75 months away from the movie coming out. They write, under option B, Sony would hold back Spider-Man Brand New Day's first trailer until Monday, April 13th. That, I believe, is when Sony's doing their presentation at CinemaCon. Being an exclusive event for the theater owners, studio executives, industry professionals, and select press. Trailer Track noted that the hotly anticipated trailer would be released online, but with extra footage and offerings for attendees. Now, this is important because this is all true. Sony has often used Spider-Man to make a splash at CinemaCon, including bringing Tom Holland out to announce Homecoming in 2016, dropping the first trailer for No Way Home privately and online in 2021, and just last year offering new footage for announcements for Beyond the Spider-Verse. Sony loves CinemaCon. And they have a long history of doing Spider-Man related things at CinemaCon. And not just Sony, a lot of studios. Rob, you know this. Yep. A lot of studios have dropped big trailers first at CinemaCon and then like 5 minutes later, then drop them online. They like to get all the movie theater owners excited because that's where a lot of studios know you got to start. You got to get the theater owners excited. You get them excited and then boom, you drop it online. Honestly, Rob, if all other things were being equal, and I had to guess about whether they would drop the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer with Project Hail Mary or at CinemaCon, I would honestly guess CinemaCon. That just seems to make more sense to me, to really eventize the whole thing, right? But I'm actually going to guess it's going to be with Project Hail Mary. And the only reason I'm going to guess it's with Project Hail Mary is because it's literally a month earlier. It is, while I think most studios should wait and not start marketing any more than 5 months out, we're within that window now.
Yes.
This is a big major film. And I'm thinking they're going to want to start to get rolling on it. So while it is possible that they may hold off until CinemaCon, like 1 month and 1 week from now, to drop it out there in Vegas, I think I'd put the odds are dropping with Project Hail Mary, especially now that I'm realizing that Amy Pascal is the producer of both films. Sony is the international distributor for Project Hail Mary. That does seem to suggest some more synergy. So I'm going to guess with or right around Project Hail Mary. Rob, you're hearing the two options that are being floated out there. What do you see as the merits for each of them? And then ultimately, which one do you think we're actually going to get our Spider-Man trailer with?
Well, first of all, I understand why they're appealing to theater owners, because the theater owners are where people are going to go to see Spider-Man Brand New Day. But I think that they're going to tee it up. They're probably going to do a great presentation for Spider-Man Brand New Day at CinemaCon, but that will be after the trailer was attached to Project Hail Mary to gin up. I mean, you're going to have, it's not that long really, because Project Hail Mary opens on the 20th. So you're only going to have a couple of weeks before CinemaCon, but it's going to be enough that people are going to be chattering all about it. And it'll already, because hopefully by then, Spider-Man, the trailer will be in front of Project Hail Mary, but Project Hail Mary will still probably be doing quite well in the theaters when CinemaCon rolls around. And so it's really great to have that trailer in the theaters to tee up whatever presentation they're going to give, because they know it's one of their biggest movies of not just this year, but of the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I wouldn't imagine, I mean, I'm not saying they're going to show the movie at CinemaCon, because I don't think they will, but they might give us an extended taste, like one of those 20-minute tastes, and really show and really say, look, this movie is it's coming. We're really proud of it. It's going to be one of the biggest movies of the summer, most anticipated, and it's the next Marvel movie to come out before Doomsday. So I would imagine we are indeed going to get the trailer with Project Hail Mary, but they're going to have a big presentation at CinemaCon that the trailer will have generated sufficient excitement for. So that's what I think they're going to do.
What do you see as being like, if there was going to be like one main factor that kind of made the decision between whether they dropped it at CinemaCon 1 month after Project Hail Mary or with Project Hail Mary, what do you think that one big factor would be to kind of determine that for them?
Well, if there's something in the trailer that they don't want to get out or something, or there's some information, but like you pointed out, we're not that far away. And isn't CinemaCon at the beginning of the month?
April 13th is when it starts.
So it's mid-month. Yeah. So it's almost a month away. Okay, that makes sense. But I just think that what they want an energized, excited crowd at CinemaCon. And I think with the business that Project Hail Mary is going to do, coupled with this excitement around the Spider-Man trailer, they're going into CinemaCon with a very strong hand. So I think that's what they don't have to generate it there. They've already got people really excited. So when they do their presentation, the excitement surrounding the rest of Amazon's slate, it's going to be a twofer, because Amazon still has like Masters of the Universe coming off the heels of Project Hail Mary, and it's all the same audience. The same people that are going to go see Project Hail Mary are going to go see Masters of the Universe, are going to go see Spider-Man. So I think by releasing the trailer first, they've created that excitement already. And with Project Hail Mary and with Spider-Man, that's really great. I think that's what they want. So that's why I think they want the excitement that the Spider-Man trailer is going to generate to sort of tee up their presentation.
Yeah. I mean, another good argument too is the fact that while we believe Project Hail Mary is going to have really good legs, it doesn't look like it's going to have the most remarkable opening weekend. And maybe Spider-Man, them announcing the Spider-Man trailer will drop, it could help that. But Rob, you kind of mentioned something here. This is the other reason I'm going to go with that. I think they'll release with Project Hail Mary, because you release the trailer there. you mentioned a full screening. As of right now, when I look at the schedule, there are 2 secret studio full screenings. And I just want to remind everybody that Spider-Man Brand New Day is a Sony Pictures film. Just a couple of years ago, I was at CinemaCon, and while he was still alive, the late, great Ivan Reitman and his son, Jason Reitman, came on stage just to talk about their new Ghostbusters film. And it's like, oh, cool. We didn't expect Jason Reitman and Ivan Reitman to be here. So they were on stage together talking about Ghostbusters. And then they go, oh, and by the way, because you got to understand, when they do these secret screenings, they do put it in the schedule. They let you know, hey, at 8 p.m. on Sunday. We were just at the Sony presentation, right? And so Ivan Reitman, Jason Reitman on stage, and then they go, oh, and by the way, well, yeah, we believe you're going to really love the new Ghostbusters when you watch it right now. And they shocked the audience by then dimming the lights, and they played the entire Ghostbusters movie. Look, am I saying the odds are that we're going to get the full Spider-Man screening at CinemaCon? Sony's done it. Other Marvel films have done it. I wouldn't bet that they would, because again, at that point, the movie's still like 3 months away. But I don't think it's as unlikely as some people think. I think there's I would give it a 15% chance. I know that's not big, but it's a legit number. I think I would give it a 15% chance we get the full. At minimum, we'll probably get 10 minutes of it. Like, they're definitely going to give us like 8 to 10 minutes of it. But I think there's like a solid 15 to 20% chance. Because remember, like the Ghostbusters thing, like Marvel gave us the full Shang-Chi presentation. They've done a lot of stuff like that before, but I don't know. What do you think about that?
Here's one thing too about Spider-Man Brand New Day that I guess we could say we know. Do we know? It doesn't, whatever happens in Spider-Man Brand New Day, it does not necessarily have anything to do with Doomsday, especially with all the characters that are in Brand New Day. So they're not, unless I would imagine if they do show the movie, they're not going to show the post-credit sequence, because I'm willing to bet that whatever post-credit sequence happens, it's going to talk, because I would imagine, remember, the universe is going to end. So whatever happens in Brand New Day kind of has to be a definitive ending to this chapter. To these four movies will be the end of Tom Holland of Spider-Man's current incarnation. So they can really do anything they want. So I don't think that showing Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to interfere with their future plans. But they'll probably leave off whatever the end tag is, because that will have something to do with their future.
Well,
plans.
that has happened before. We've had Marvel and other films screen at CinemaCon, and then later we found out when it comes out in theaters, there's a post-credit scene that they don't play at CinemaCon. Yeah, they've done it before. They could do it again.
I think they might do that because of all the Spider-Man movies. Whatever happens in this one, I think it's going to be pretty much self-contained.
Yeah.
Except for the idea of they'll spill the beans on Sadie Sink. Is she or isn't she? I mean, but then it won't really matter because it's not like that. Even that secret. Let's just say for the time being that. Well, we'll talk about it in the next segment.
Yeah, we'll get to that in just a second. Again, remember, guys, I'm not saying they're going to play Spider-Man, but I'm just saying I don't think it's as unlikely as you might think. I'd give it a 15% chance. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, the Spider-Man trailer, the first one, has to come soon. The question is, how soon? Will they wait one more month and play it at CinemaCon? Or in the next 10 days or so, could they play it in front of Project Hail Mary? When do you suspect? Or maybe there's a third option that we're not talking about. When do you think we're going to get it? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, as we've just been saying, Spider-Man Brand New Day is coming. We got a trailer coming, could come with Project Hail Mary, could come at CinemaCon, but one way or another, we know that in July, Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to hit us. It's coming, going to be on our screens, and we're going to watch it. I thought now, as we're getting really, really close to getting that first Spider-Man trailer, I thought it would be fun, Rob, for you and I to kind of take inventory. Like we're going to get a trailer here soon, and we're going to get some questions answered with a trailer. But I thought it would be fun for us to kind of go down the checklist of what it is we know about the new Spider-Man and what the rumors, the dominant rumors, because there's a million different rumors, but the dominant rumors that seem to be picking up some traction and have some solid reasons to be believable are right now. Now, look, I'm going to let you guys watching know right now, if you're one of these people who are completely unrealistic and you think you're going to be able to shield yourself from all that information over the next 4.5 months, you might want to kind of click away. Like maybe some of the stuff. Now, remember, we're not affirming that any of the stuff we're going to talk about is actually in the film. It could be, it might not be. It's not spoiler stuff. I have not read the script for Spider-Man Brand New Day. So, but if you don't want to hear any of the speculation or any of the rumors that are going around about it, maybe come back and visit this, video in a few months. But you have been notified. So let's start going down through the checklist here, shall we? And we're going to jump over to the Campea classroom to do this. We're going to talk about Spider-Man info. What do we got? What do we know? Okay, let's start with this. Facts. Okay, let's start with facts that we have. The actual things that we know for sure are a part of the movie. We know that John Bernthal, Mark Ruffalo, and Sadie Sink are all joining a Spider-Man universe for the first time. Okay? We know that. We know because of the official synopsis that read, Peter Parker is no more, and Peter Parker is a ghost. I don't believe they meant Peter Parker, Rob, is a ghost, literally.
No.
Like, some people wrote, oh my God, Peter's... No. I don't think they mean that. Peter Parker's no more, and he's a ghost. What? No. It's not literal. Like, it's just that he's... Instead of finding the balance between his personal life as Peter Parker and his hero life as Spider-Man, the synopsis makes it look like he's just for the last couple of years. Because what did they say? It was a 4-year time jump?
Yeah.
4 years since the events of Spider-Man No Way Home, that he has fully thrown himself into just being Spider-Man. And that's really all that he has. Also, things that we know is that in the synopsis, they kind of mentioned that MJ has moved on. There's actually been several reports that have come out that they've cast that she's going to have another love interest. She's going to have a boyfriend at this point. Because remember, it's been 4 years since she's forgotten about Peter. Also, what a lot of people are excited about is Michael Mando is finally coming back as Scorpion. Rob, that promised that they kind of gave us ages ago in like a post-credit scene. It's finally coming through. I bet Michael had totally given up that he would ever be back in a Spider-Man movie again. And yet here he is. So we know that. As a fact, one of the more interesting things, though, is that as you go over to the animated Spider-Verse movies, Marvin Jones III, who was Tobias Whale, the villain in Black Lightning, the show, he was great in that. And he did the voice, the animated voice of Tombstone. Well, you guys might remember a little while ago it was announced that he has actually been cast to play the live action Tombstone, which I think he's a terrific actor. I think he's got a magnificent screen presence. He's also got an awesome voice, his Tobias voice. I can't even remotely do it. Like he's got this awesome voice that I think is going to play really well. I don't know how big or small of a role he has in the film. So those are things that we know as facts, okay? Those are all facts. Those aren't questions. Those aren't rumors. All these things are all facts. Well, now let's take some time and start going down through the inventory of the major traction rumors that are out there and the ones that I actually think are pretty believable. As a matter of fact, I'll qualify these ones as major rumors that I actually believe. Here we go. A popular theory out there, Sadie Sink is Jean Grey. Rob, at this point, I got to say, I have little to no doubt that this is the case. I think when they first announced Sadie Sink, everybody's initial thought was she's probably Jean Grey because she's a redhead, which isn't a good reason to believe it. But everything else we've heard so far and some of the apparent story leaks I've heard all match up to her being Jean Grey, which will make her, I mean, yeah, that's going to make her the first new X-Men cast that we're going to get. Because I don't think that we're going to see Channing Tatum still being Gambit when the new X-Men saga starts playing around. I think he's going to be done in Doomsday or Secret Wars. So there's that. So Sadie Sink is Jean Grey. At this point, I just accept that as fact. I don't know that as fact, but I accept it as fact until we see a trailer or the movie itself proves otherwise. So, but that's been kind of the main thing that's been going around. The next thing that's been going around that I think is pretty believable is that the Department of Damage Control, which we saw play a significant role in the Wonder Man series, is going to be a major antagonist. Maybe not the antagonist, but a major antagonist force in it. And the word is that Tremel Tillman, who of course is Mr. Milchick in Succession, and Rob, how good is this guy? They're saying he's going to be the head of the Department of Damage Control, which is pretty awesome if that's what they end up doing. The next thing that I 100% believe on this one, again, we'll wait to find out for fact, but this is just what I believe from everything that I've read and what makes sense, is that Peter in the movie is starting to mutate into a spider, AKA, or much likened unto Jeff Goldblum in The Fly, turning into a fly, like sprouting extra legs, all that kind of stuff, right? Now, as a part of that, this is going to be the impetus that moves him to seek out Bruce Banner. And Bruce Banner and him are going to start talking about mutation, which is what brings in Jean Grey at that. The other big rumor is that a major action sequence was filmed that eyewitnesses reported filming, a major action sequence where Punisher and Jean Grey come to Peter's rescue. That's all the major ones I've got on the list here, Rob. So let me go through these with you. Sadie Sink is Jean Grey. Do you believe it, or do you still think there's a real good possibility she's another character?
Totally believe it. I mean, what they're doing is they're getting us ready for the idea of a newer, younger X-Men team. You know, they're teeing up this. I mean, it's because we don't have, the MCU doesn't have, we have the X-Men have been imported over from other Earths, but this is the first time that the 616 acknowledges, we know that Miss Marvel's a mutant, but this is the first time the proper X-Men classic character will have been seen. So that idea is put into our heads. So when Secret Wars, after post Secret Wars, I would imagine Sadie Sink will continue on as Jean Grey in the new X-Men team. And I like setting her up this way because it's probably pre-Xavier's school. So that's interesting.
Okay. Let's move on to the next one then that was in there. Department of Damage Control plays a significant role. The whispers are Tremel Tillman is going to be the head of Damage Control. Do you believe that one?
100%. And I love the fact that they're going to bring in Damage Control. Like we've already seen Michael Keaton, you know, harvesting alien tech from the
various Avengers battles,
you know, and the fact that they have the Damage Control and they're going to bring them to the forefront. I think it's a great addition to the MCU. They've needed it for a long time.
All right. Now the next major thing on the list that we had there is that we are going to see one of the storylines in the movies that going to be Peter is now starting to mutate. That the effects of the spider bite wasn't just wonderful super strength and magical spidey sense. It's going to have other complications, repercussions. Now, Rob, there is actually precedent in the comics. There is a storyline where this actually happens to Peter in the comics. It does make a lot of sense for why he seeks out Bruce Banner, why he needs that scientist and the Jean Grey, the mutation thing. Remember, we're starting with Ms. Marvel. They've already started flirting with mutation in it. So I don't know. Do you buy this one? Do you think that's actually going to be one of the storylines in this movie?
I totally do, because the first time this happened, you go all the way back to Spider-Man 100 that came out in 1971. And in that comic, Peter Parker wanted to get rid of his powers. So he took a serum that made him instead start to literally grow legs and, arms. And I mean, look, it could be really goofy, like Spider-Man 3 goofy, but I think it's going to be played more for the horrific aspects of all of that. And, I like the idea that Peter will probably come out of it with organic web shooters. For whatever reason, I always love that. I always love the organic web shooters that they gave Tobey Maguire. I always thought that was a byproduct of being like a spider. And I like this idea, John. I think it's going to be, I don't know how far they're going to take it, but I bet it's going to be cool.
All right, so that then leads into the Dr. Banner thing about why he seeks out Bruce's help. They talk about mutation. Jean Grey comes in there, Punisher at some point. So, Rob, you and I haven't talked about this, but let me ask you this. Have there been other... I mean, obviously, there have been a million flimsy rumors out there, but have there been any other rumors or talk or chatter about Spider-Man Brand New Day? Because like, unlike Doomsday, you and I don't really know anything that happens in Spider-Man Brand New Day.
I really
so has there been anything else that stands out to you that you've heard about it or that you maybe have a decent chance of believing could be a part of it?
Not really, but I do have a speculation.
Oh, what's that?
And my speculation is this. These characters are specifically not going to be in Doomsday, at least that we know of, unless they've changed things. Now, if they're not, there's got to be some way, there's got to be some ending, there's got to be an end tag, because that's what the Marvel way is. I think this movie's going to end. And by the way, I have no reason, this is just speculation on my part. I think this movie is going to end in the post-credit scene with Peter Parker seeing what he thinks is Tony Stark. And Tony Stark saying, "You got to come with me." Or something like that. I have no reason I've not heard anything, but how cool would that be? That we see an unmasked Robert Downey Jr., scars on his face or whatever, but he needs to show himself to Peter Parker, and then they go off together. That's where I think the first time we're going to see that. We're going to see.
You know why? You know why I absolutely 100% don't think that's going to happen. Not that there couldn't be a post-credit scene that somehow, some way, directly or implied, loosely or tightly ties into Doomsday. But as you and I have talked about on the show before, one of the rumors about Doomsday that we did confirm for people is that they do not reveal Robert Downey Jr.'s face as Dr. Doom. Want to make sure I'm careful about what I say after that. Just generally speaking, they don't reveal Tony Stark's face or Robert Downey Jr.'s face in Doomsday. And that the repercussions of that and the reasons for that and all that kind of stuff is something they're saving for Secret Wars. If that's the case, it really wouldn't make any sense to, prior to Doomsday, have a post-credit scene in Spider-Man where they do that reveal already. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's why I don't know that I buy it.
I totally agree with your logic. But it's because of that what they're doing is they're teeing up Secret Wars. And what if, that for whatever reason, it's a way to show that Spider-Man is going to be allied with Doom or something. I mean, I don't know.
This is all speculation on our part, by the way, guys.
Yeah,
we're not revealing anything.
I'm just trying to think of, knowing that Spider-Man Brand New Day does not play a significant part in Doomsday. Neither do any of those characters, unless they've changed something, which they could very well be doing because they're going to do reshoots. Who knows? But I think they need to have a jaw dropper. Whatever the final scene is at the end of that they're not going to go, because people are going to be like, well, wait a minute, what's going to happen with Spider-Man? Because they don't.
Do you remember the end of Spider-Man Far From Home And like they had the ultimate Spider-Man movie post-credit scene mic drop when J.K. Simmons pops up as J. Jonah.
Oh,
and
you
like
mean that
everyone
was
was
in
like,
that was in Far From Home.
that's what I said, Far From Home.
Oh, you said No Way Home.
Oh, did I? No,
Yeah, I think you
I'm
did.
positive I said Far From. Anyway, I might have because I do misspeak sometimes. But like that's a big one to try to top. And if you're going to try to top it, it would have to be something really big. And I mean, what you're describing would certainly do it. I mean, if they did that, it would certainly do that.
Again, I have no, and the thing is, what that would do is that ties into Secret Wars. It wouldn't tie into, or again, I have no idea, but they've got to do something, because the only other thing that happens before Doomsday is the Vision Quest series.
Right.
And I don't know, to be honest, I really don't know if they're going to tie in the Vision. I would imagine they would have to tie in the Vision Quest series to Doomsday somehow. I mean, I guess they don't have to, but maybe, who knows? I don't know. I really don't know.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about all these things? We're getting close to finally getting our official trailer for Spider-Man. We're just a little over 4 months away now from the movie. As we start going down through the inventory and the checklist of all the facts that we know about the film and some of the more at least believable rumors at this point, which are the ones that are standing out to you the most? Also, are there other big rumors that you think actually have a high chance of credibility that you would add to that list? If you do, please jump down into the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. All right, guys. With all that down, it's time for us now to move on to the most important part of our show, which is taking your live comments and questions. But before we do, we have to do two things. First is bid good afternoon to the writer, director, producer extraordinaire, Robert Meyer Burnett. Great job as always, my friend. We will talk to you next week.
John, I'm off to see Hoppers and The Bride. That's my Friday double feature for today. I'm looking forward to it. 2 different movies, certainly.
I've seen both of them. And I'll save my thoughts. Well, you guys know I liked Hoppers. Hoppers is good. I liked it. I don't think it's one of Pixar's best, but Hoppers is good. And
is it their funniest movie ever?
No, it's definitely not their funniest movie ever, but it's good. It's good. And I didn't love The Bride. I don't think it was bad. I don't think it was bad. Let me be clear. I don't think it was bad, but I was kind of expecting to like it a lot more. But anyway, I'm dying to find out. Text me later once you see both of them. I want to know what you thought about them.
I will do that.
All right, guys, that's Robert Meyer Burnett. And now the other thing we have to do before we get on and start taking your live comments and questions is, of course, pay some bills around here. And we do that by thanking great sponsors of our show. We want to thank a couple of those sponsors of today's episode of the John Campea Show, our friends at Harry's and Mando. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Mando. Guys, the time for spring cleaning has come, and to be honest, I'm actually kind of looking forward to it this year. I've been busy clearing out the clutter in the studio here and getting my camper van ready for the next movie meetup trip, but I'm also incredibly excited to keep using my deodorant. You guys know that a while ago I started using Mando whole body deodorant, and it has been an absolute game changer for me. Whether I'm sitting under these hot studio lights for a long live stream, or I'm out on the golf course recently. Yeah, I actually just took up golf. I need something that actually works. Mando was created by a doctor and comes from the founders of Lumi. One of the things that I love about Mando is that it's safe to use anywhere. We're talking pits, feet, and even the boys downstairs. It's clinically proven to block odor for up to 72 hours, which is honestly way better than a shower with soap alone. It doesn't just mask the smell, it stops it before it starts. Right now, you can get 20% off site-wide. Head over to shopmando.com and use my exclusive code Campea. That's shopmando.com, code Campea for 20% off. Support the show and tell them I sent you. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Harry's. Listen, guys, you know that I'm a tech geek. We live in an age where your phone is basically a handheld supercomputer and your car can now literally park itself. So why are so many of us still using razors that feel flimsy, overpriced, and honestly stuck in 2008? That's exactly why I've leveled up to the new Harry's Plus. When I first picked this thing up, the first thing that I noticed was the weight. It's solid metal, no cheap plastic here. If you want to check it out right now, head over to harrys.com/Campea. Now, what makes the Plus different is the advanced pivoting system that actually reaches every corner of your face. You're getting 3 different blade angles for a clean cut at the root, plus a lubricating strip with aloe and vitamin E to keep your skin calm while you work. No clogging, no middleman, just a great shave. Right now, you can get the Harry's Plus trial set for only $10 at harrys.com/Campea. You're getting the new Plus razor, a 5-blade cartridge, their foam shave gel, and a travel cover. It's a risk-free trial, so if you don't love it, they'll make it right. Go to harrys.com/Campea, and when they ask where you heard about them, please tell them we sent you. It really helps support the show. And thank you to Harry's and Mando for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show. All right, guys, with all that down, it's time for us to move over and start taking your live comments and questions. Now, just so you know, we have turned off the super chats because we have more than enough in there right now to take up the rest of our time. But we do have a bunch of them that came in, so let's get over to them, shall we? And we're going to start off with, where are we starting off with? We're starting off with, wrong button. There we go. Pens Gaming 7 writes, as a fellow Canadian, thoughts on this NHL season? Surprising for a couple of big reasons. There are some teams that are overperforming, some teams that are underperforming. Obviously, standing out to me the most is not the season that I thought the Leafs were going to have. I mean, listen, the Leafs are still in position to be in the playoffs. They've got a winning record, all that kind of stuff, but I was expecting more for the Leafs this year. I still believe they have the firepower to make a push in the playoffs. We'll have to wait and see. The second thing that was really surprising to me about this season so far is while they are not stinking or anything, but I am kind of shocked about the Florida Panthers, man. Like, I think right now, they're in 8th place in their division. And again, they've been a powerhouse for the last few years. So yeah, I would say I would qualify this season so far as being rather surprising is how I would say it. All right. Next up, Attack in the Mushi writes, Jessie Buckley wants that second best actress, huh? I'll tell you what, man, I didn't love The Bride. I didn't love The Bride. But oh my God, Jessie Buckley? Listen, it's not often you get acting nominations for movies that aren't particularly great, but if they're going to do one, Jessie Buckley legitimately could be in the race for next year's Oscars for this. Again, it's not often that they'll give nominations for movies that don't go over super great, but she's amazing. She's going to win the Oscar this year for Hamnet. And man, I'll tell you, as of today, which is only in March, but as of today, for me, she is the leading candidate to be Best Actress next year for her performance in The Bride. All right. Next up, King Daddy Goat writes, do you think Adam Scott still has a 6-pack from Step Brothers? Or perhaps they've been severed, but haha, tis, love you, have a great show. Man, you know what? The one of the great things about Adam Scott is that he's one of these guys that every once in a while you're going through some older stuff and you realize, oh my God, he was in this too. And oh my God, he was in that too. And how good is he as Will Ferrell's brother in Step Brothers? Step Brothers is like unabashedly one of my all-time favorite, in my top 5. Step Brothers is in my top 5 favorite comedies ever. I love that movie, and Adam Scott was so good in it, man. That scene he does with Catherine Hahn and the 2 kids in the back when they start singing a cappella, Sweet Child of Mine, that kills me every single time I watch it. Anyway, all right. Next up, Calum writes, hey, John, the new Scrubs is fantastic, 100 times better than season 9. Dude, I cut my toenails this morning, and that was 100 times better than season 9. Anyway, I'm so happy they retconned it. Have you seen it yet? I have not seen it yet. I am anxious to watch it. I haven't gotten around to see it yet. I did finally yesterday, because I hadn't started watching Paradise season 2 yet. So last night, Anne, there was like bad traffic for Anne getting home. So I took some time and sat down, decided to watch and get caught up on Paradise season 2. And I got through all 4 episodes. So I'm up to date now on Paradise season 2. I don't think it's as good as season 1, but it's really good. Like, second season is really good. And the 4th episode was gut punch. I mean, the 4th episode was so good. Anyway, but no, I have not yet tried the new Scrubs. I will get on that soon, but I haven't tried it yet. All right. Next up, Zach writes, over under 75% that Michael will have its own sing-along screenings. I'm going to go under on that. I think the way it's going to be done, and I don't know this is just me guessing. I think the way it's going to be done will not lend itself to having sing-along versions of it. Like, I don't know that they're going to have like full musical numbers. I don't know that they won't. I'm just not 100%. Now, so again, I wouldn't say 5%, but I'm going to take the under on 70. That's a really high, 75% is a really high number. So I'm just going to go under. I'm going to say it's closer to the 50-50 mark. At least that's my guess. All right. Thanks for that, Zach. Next up, Steph S. writes in, do you think Saudis might pull their 20% investment in the Paramount Warner Brothers merger due to the financial hit they've been taking because of the U.S. war in Iran? Will the deal be over if that happens? Well, listen, to be clear, we don't know that the Saudis' money is still a part of the deal at all. Like, I did an editorial video the other day called about the 5 kill switches, the 5 potential things that could happen that would kill the Paramount Warner Brothers deal. Now, again, for the record, I think the deal is going to go through, just to be clear. But, there are these 5 kill switches, and if any one of them goes off, it does kill the deal. And in that editorial, we kind of laid out that right now, Paramount is being very quiet about where $47 billion of the money is coming from. A lot of people believe it's still the Saudis and Qatar and United Arab Emirates, and places like that, but they're not saying. They're just straight up not saying right now where that money's coming from. So they may already be out for all we know. We don't know. And if they are in, then CFIUS, the commission on, what is it again? The commission, basically the commission that looks at, the committee that looks at international or foreign, that's what CFIUS is, the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States. They have the power to kill the deal if they want. Like, if they don't like the idea that Saudi and Qatar and Middle Eastern money is going to have some controlling interest over CBS News and CNN, American news broadcasts, they could kill the deal. But again, I think, is that a possibility? Yes, but I think the deal goes through. I think they're going to get the deal through, and I think it won't be too much of a measure. But as of right now, we don't know. Just to be clear, we don't know right now if Saudi money is still a part of it or not. See, Marcus Y saying it's confirmed. No. It was confirmed that they were going to be a part of the deal before. That was a while ago. They did some restructuring, and after the restructuring, they never gave official word if that was still happening or not. It was never officially said if they were part of the new deal. Now, again, there's a good chance they are. There's a good chance they are, but right now we don't officially know. All right. Let's see. What's next? Thanks for that question, Steph. R Dank writes, watching Fallout is hard not to see the parallel. Vault Tech profits from nukes, while today's prediction market lets people profit from betting on disasters in the real world. That brings up something kind of interesting. You can bet on everything now. Like, I'll be honest with you, like, even as we were getting closer to the end of the NFL season, like, I do like a lot of people, I do a lot of my investing on Robinhood, right? I won't show you my official numbers, but I use Robinhood. Then wouldn't you know it, during the NFL season, I would open up like my Robinhood app to check on my investments, move some money around, add some money to it, whatever. And like the home screen would say, hey, the Chargers are playing the Bills tonight. And like you could literally bet prediction market on the outcome of the football game. There. With things like Polymarket and all that kind of stuff, they're literally turning everything into betting opportunities. Now, look, I'm somebody who I've always believed that adults should be able to do adult things responsibly and ended at that. Like, I like sports betting. I do. Now, when I do sports betting, I, bet $5. I bet $10. Or something like that. It's just a little something like on NFL Sundays coming up. I like using, the sports betting apps just to have a little bit of an extra vested interest in the game. And, I'll bet $10 that, Josh Allen will throw more than 2.5 touchdowns. I enjoy it. I think adults should be able to do adult things responsibly. That being said, there is, just like you shouldn't outlaw ice cream, but the reality is there are people who abuse ice cream, overuse ice cream, and eat so much ice cream, it really becomes a detriment to their health and their future and all that kind of stuff. But does that mean that ice cream is bad? I don't think so. I believe that you can have things that are adults for adults that adults can use responsibly, like sports betting. I enjoy it. But I don't bet $500 on it. I don't bet $5,000 on it. I like ice cream. I don't eat 5 cartons at a time. So I don't know. It's a really interesting thing, but even somebody, I bring all that up to mention that even somebody like me that really enjoys sports betting and thinks adults should be able to do adult things responsibly without being, harassed for it and all that kind of stuff. Even I, who believe all that, even I get a little bit concerned seeing how much sports betting is now, or not even sports betting, gambling. And I say this as a poker player, that gambling on everything, everywhere, like you can now bet people. I saw people were betting on what's the length of the State of the Union address going to be. Like you can literally bet on anything now. So I believe in it. I enjoy it. I participate in it as a responsible adult. But even I sometimes raise an eyebrow when I see stuff like Polymarket and things like that make everything a wager. And could people wagering on things actually then have an influence on the outcome of those events? I'm not saying they do. I'm just saying that's a concerning question. Anyway, that's just me. All right. Next up. Interesting question, RD. Wonka writes, over under 99% David Ellison is a Snyder bro. I happen to know for a fact it's 0. I happen to know for a fact it's 0. Now listen, even if he was a Snyder bro, and remember, there is a difference between Zack Snyder fans. I am a Zack Snyder fan. Between Zack Snyder fans and Snyder bros. There's a difference between the two of them. But even if he was a quote unquote Snyder bro, I know there's some people thinking that Paramount's going to, well, number one, they've already publicly said their number one goal is to bring back James Gunn and keep James Gunn there. I think James Gunn's going to leave, but their goal is to keep James Gunn. But this is the part that a lot of people miss, is that even if James Gunn leaves, and I think he will, I think James Gunn is going to walk, but that's no insider information. That's just me as a know nothing fan shooting a YouTube video in his garage guessing. But even if I'm right, and even if James Gunn leaves, there is no chance in hell they bring back Zack Snyder. Like zero chance. Like almost less than a chance that Netflix was going to get Zack Snyder to take back over DC. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It is a zero possibility that happens. Anyway. All right. Next up, Luis Hernandez writes, I believe Avatar 3 will win Best Visual Effects, but I have to say the visual effects for The Lost Bus are amazing. Everything from the environment to the fire told a story. It wasn't just eye candy. Yeah, but I mean, like, as somebody who worked in the visual effects industry for a few years, like the role when, and somebody who knows a couple of voting members of the Academy who are in the visual effects branch, they like to look for, at least the people in the branch, they like to look for visual effects that move the needle. And I thought The Lost Bus, especially you're talking about the environments and the fire and all that kind of stuff, I thought the visual effects were very, very well done. But I also never felt like there was anything in there that A, we hadn't seen before, and B, we haven't seen before 1,000 times. Like, it's okay if it's something we've seen before, but like, I feel like the types of effects that they did in there are pretty standard types of effects done extremely well. Extremely well. But nothing that, I would say moved the needle. Whereas what they did, I know we take it for granted now, but what James Cameron continues to do visual effects wise with the Avatar franchise is absolutely mind-blowing. Like totally and completely mind-blowing. So all due respect, to The Last Bus, but yeah, Lost Bus, I think not only clearly will Avatar win, I think it's clear it should win as well. Like it deserves to win it far more. That's just my opinion. And it's just an opinion. Your opinion is different and your opinion is no less valid than mine. All right. Next up, Caleb writes, Austin Butler or Jacob Elordi for Aegon the Conqueror. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed. Listen, those are both great actors. And you know me, X actor and X role, I don't care. I mean, as long as you get a talented, solid actor in the role, then I'm okay. And if they announced Austin Butler tomorrow, I go, hey, he's a great actor, so I'm good with it. If they announced Jacob Elordi, I'd go, hey, he's a great actor. I'm all for it. I don't know that either one of them would be on the top of my list, like in the top 5 of my list, who I would maybe go for. But again, the most important thing is talented actors and they're both good. So I'm not really going to pick between them because neither one of them would really be my pick, but I think either of them would do a great job. Either of them would do a great job. So I'll just leave it at that. All right. Thanks, Caleb. Next up, Amin writes, I just got back from 2 weeks in Europe. Nice. Went to London, Paris. Oh man, what a trip. Went to London, Paris, and Milan. Had a ton of excellent food. Only been able to watch segments of the show, but have you started Paradise Season 2? Thoughts so far? I had not until yesterday, and I've gotten fully caught up. I think I said this during the show. I'm not loving Season 2 as much as I loved Season 1, but it is very good. It's totally a worthy follow-up. It is a worthy second season, and I'm very much enjoying it. And I do have to say, for any of you who haven't seen it, episode 4 is phenomenal. Like episode 4 is great. It's really, really good. So very solid second season. I don't think as good as season 1, but I am quite enjoying it. Anyway, that's a great trip. Sounds like you had it, Mean. I'm glad you had it. All right. Matt writes, hey, if you come to Boston, and I'm sure we will come to Boston, check out the Jordan's IMAX in Reading. $16 tickets, 3 trailers and burgers and homemade ice cream in the lobby. Enjoy. Yeah, listen, that is absolutely we've already done, I lost count, 16, 17, 18 movie meetups already. I lost count, but there are still some major cities we've got to do. We're going to come up to Columbus, Ohio sometime soon. We got to do the New York area sometime soon, but absolutely we're going to do Boston. I know it's a little outside of Boston, but Anne used to have a big position over at Hasbro, and their head offices were in Rhode Island, and like just a hop, skip, and a jump from Gillette Stadium, where the Patriots play. And we got to go into Boston and stuff like that too while we're there. I love that. I really, really enjoy Boston. I like it a lot. So yeah, Columbus is on the list. The New York area, somewhere around New York will be on the list. And absolutely we will be in the Boston area. Maybe not right in Boston proper, but like somewhere right around Boston. We are definitely going to come up there. All right. Next up, Amin writes, how do you compare Hoppers to Soul and Luca? I would put them right around. I would put it on the same level because, I like Luca and I like Soul. They're good movies, but neither of those movies are in my top tier Pixar. And I think that's where I would put Hoppers. A solid movie, entertaining, worthy movie. It's a good Pixar film. But I don't put it on the same level as Up. I don't put it on the same level as Ratatouille. I don't put it on the same level as The Incredibles. But I do have it on like the really good solid tier, much like Soul, much like Luca. That's how I would compare them at any rate. All right. Jai CSC writes, let's talk about that great episode of Shrinking. It was great. It was really, really good. Now, unfortunately, one of our viewers spoiled it for me because it wasn't a big deal, but like I didn't get to watch it the night that it dropped. And first thing in the morning, one of our viewers is like, man, I thought he was going to die. Glad he didn't. So I already kind of saw it when it happened, but still, it was a great episode. Look, here's the thing. I don't know. I know I go on about it all the time, but this is probably the best show on television right now. At least of its kind. Like The Pit is also insane. How good was the newest episode of The Pit, by the way? But like this show, there has not been, listen, not only has there not been a weak season, there hasn't been a weak episode yet. There hasn't been a single weak episode yet. Every single episode is fantastic. The writing is always sharp. The comedy is always intense. The emotion is always very real. It's the only show I can ever remember that moves back and forth between making you laugh your guts out and then feeling like you want to bawl your eyes out, to feeling incredibly emotional and then feeling like you're going to pass out from laughing. And it is the best Harrison Ford has been in 2 decades. I mean, easily the best Harrison Ford has been in a decade. Like that's easy. Like Harrison Ford hasn't been this good in a decade. You might be able to make the argument Harrison Ford hasn't been this good in 2 decades. Like we're seeing peak Harrison Ford right now. It's just, and it's an incredible cast. Guys, I cannot evangelize this show enough. It is spectacular. One of the best things I've ever seen on TV for the type of show that it is. If you have not started watching Shrinking, I defy you to watch the first 4 episodes. They're short. They're short. Watch the first 4 or 5 episodes. Give it a movie length. Give it 1 movie's worth of time. Give it 5 episodes. I defy you to watch the first 5 episodes and then not watch the 6th or 7th or 8th or 9th. It's just that good, guys. It's really, really a special, special show. All right. Next up, Saul writes, do you trust a Sony and Marvel to make a good symbiote story with Spider-Man? What kind of, look, look at what they did with Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse. I mean, Sony has made the 4 best Spider-Man movies. Well, I'll say the 3. They have made the 3 best Spider-Man movies, right? Into the Spider-Verse and Beyond the Spider-Verse are the 2 best Spider-Man movies ever made. Then you've got Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, which is the 3rd best Spider-Man movie ever made. Do I trust them to make a good Venom thing? Well, why not? They made great stories out of other things. Why couldn't they make a great story out of Venom? So yes, the answer to that question is yes. Now, that doesn't mean they automatically will. Doesn't mean they automatically will. But do I trust them to do it? Yeah, I do. 100% I do. 100% I do. I mean, if you can make, listen, I never cared about Miles Morales. He's just a knockoff variation of the real Spider-Man, Peter Parker. And they made me fall in love with Miles as a character. They made me love Miles. If they can do that, then yes, they're absolutely capable of doing a good symbiote story. I just don't know if they need to. That's just the thing. I just don't know if they need to. Let's see. Pasha writes, is Fallout TV show the best video game adaptation? No, that would be The Last of Us. The Last of Us is still better. I love Fallout. Love Fallout. Last of Us is better. You asked me, so I'm giving you the answer. It's better. Trollmageddon writes, have you ever thought about attempting your own indie movie? If so, what would the pitch be? I've done my own indie movie. Let me see if I can, let's see. Yeah, here it is. Let me see if I can bring it up. Now, this is years ago, but this is back when I was still running the movie blog. I was doing my show called The Movie Blog, and I did a little movie called The Anniversary. And down, you might recognize, down on the bottom right beside the bald gentleman, is Aaron Cummings. Aaron was in my movie. And then there's the 3-legged dog, and then there's Julia Voth, who was the main model for, what was the main video character that she was again? They modeled this famous, I'm freezing on it. Some of you might remember there was a major video game character that was modeled off of Julia. Anyway, Julia and Aaron were both in that movie Bitch Slap, and that's how I met them. They were promoting their movie Bitch Slap. And that's how I met them. And so when I was making my movie, I asked each of them if they wanted to be in it, and they both were very kind enough to say yes. So, and the main reason I did the movie, really the main reason is, well, there are a couple of things. One is, everybody always says, I want to make a movie someday. I'm one of these people that I don't believe in just sitting around and saying something. If I want to say, I want to make a movie someday, then I'm actually going to do it. By hook or by crook, one way or the other, I'm going to do it. Now, granted, I made the movie for like $20,000. It's like 1.5 million, I believe, is the definition of low budget. I think that's the official, like in the unions and everything, 1.5 million is the official low budget definition. And mine was $20,000. And so it was, and it looks like it was $20,000. It totally looks like it was done for $20,000. But you know what? I am incredibly proud of it. I am very, very proud of it. And I always have, but the main reason I did it was because I was doing the movie blog at the time. And I thought, if I'm going to be talking about films and filmmakers and stuff like that, I want to have a better understanding, a better appreciation for what these people do. So I should probably make one myself. Not that I'm ever going to be as good as any of those people, but I should at least make it, if for no other reason, that I can have a deeper and a better and a broader appreciation for what these people do. So I wrote it, I produced it, I directed it, I got the financing for it together, and I made a little movie, a little like 85-minute movie that listen, when I made it, I never dreamed I would at least make my money back on it. And so it actually made me a little bit of money. Who knew? And I just had a blast. If you watched it out of nowhere, like let's say you didn't know who I was and you just came across it one night and you watched it on streaming, you're going to go, that wasn't very good. It's just being honest. I'm just being honest. Like I'm not trying to be humble. I'm just being honest, right? Because it was made by a guy who had never done anything like it before and who knew nothing, didn't know the first thing about what he was doing and whatever. But you know what? That being the case, I'm still extremely proud of it. Nonetheless, I am still very, very proud of it. And it truly did. Honestly, I don't think anything has ever helped me as a film pundit as much as actually taking the time to make my own little movie. Now, this was like 17 years ago that I made it. It was a long time ago, but still, that one thing has always been very, very important in helping me to have a deeper appreciation for what writers and directors and producers do. So it was a big thing. Anyway, thanks for the question, man. Next up, Frank writes, sends in a $20 super chat. Thank you, Frank. Appreciate that, man. And Frank writes, I think that Spider-Man keeps making the same mistake that Star Wars does, and that means keeping the world small. Keep using Ned and MJ instead of expanding and giving us Black Cat or other romance for a couple of years and no MJ. I'm going to disagree with you on that. I don't think, listen, because Star Wars is not about one person. Spider-Man is about Spider-Man. Star Wars isn't about the Emperor or Vader or Luke or Han or Leia or Boba Fett or Jabba the Hutt or Darth Revan or, whatever. It's like Star Wars isn't about any one person. Star Wars is a setting. It's a galaxy. And that's why it becomes very frustrating for me sometimes as a Star Wars fan that we never explore that galaxy. Spider-Man is character. He's an individual. And I don't feel that same way that you do. I'm not discrediting what you're saying. I'm just saying I don't feel the same way. I feel like for Spider-Man, you don't need to have him, having a different love interest every movie. Because again, we're talking about a story that revolves around a singular character. And you just can't make that comparison with Star Wars. You know what I mean? So I totally see what you're saying. And you know what? I bet there are a number of people watching this that probably agree with you too. I'm just saying, since you're asking me, my opinion is I don't agree. I don't think you expand the world of Spider-Man by having him, banging a bunch of chicks and having one night stands and becoming a serial dater and cycling through who his best friend is. And like, I just don't know that broadens the world of Spider-Man, but that's just me. That's just kind of my take on it at any rate. All right. Next up, Amandeep just writes, awesome. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that very much. And our last one today is a $20 super chat, comes in from Sveen, who writes, Nathan Fillion and fellow Firefly castmates have been teasing that something is happening in videos on Instagram. Next Sunday, we are getting an announcement. What could it be? Animated continuation of the show? Maybe. Like, I saw the one, what's the name of the girl who was his right hand in Firefly? And she was also in Suits. She was so good in Suits. Anybody remember what that actress's name is? I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway. Yeah, I saw that video where Nathan Fillion walks up to her trailer on a lot somewhere. He knocks on the door and she opens the door and he's like, it's time. And she says, it's time. He's like, it's time. And they never explain what it is. So obviously, initially, a bunch of people started speculating that maybe they were going to do a new season of Firefly or maybe get another Firefly movie. And I don't think that's happening. I mean, listen, I would be all for it. I'd be there with bells on. I think, Serenity is like legit one of my all-time favorite straight up sci-fi movies, like without Firefly. I think Serenity's that good. I love that. So I would love to see it. But I mean, Nathan Fillion has a full-time show he's doing. Like, he's got The Rookie. If The Rookie was ending right now, I'd say, yeah, maybe they're going to do another season of Firefly, but I don't see that. And here's the other thing. Here's the reality. Here's the truth. The show didn't do that well, and the movie didn't do that well. I think, if anything, I think you might be right. I think it might be an animated thing. I don't know. I have no insider information on this whatsoever. Like, no insider information on this whatsoever. I've only actually ever met Nathan Fillion once. Nathan Fillion, good Canadian kid. It was funny. I don't know if you guys remember from Collider, Wendy Lee Zaney. Her and her husband, Dustin, they do another YouTube channel. It's really good. It's called The Movie Couple. They're really good. But anyway, Wendy for a long time was my assistant at Collider, and then she was like one of the main administrators there, and then she did some on-camera stuff for them too. But a bunch of us were at a big premiere, and Ann and I were standing there with Wendy, and like, you have to understand, Wendy, I think her big celebrity crush was Nathan Fillion. I think he was actually her big major celebrity crush. And Nathan Fillion literally walked right by us, and she like froze. And he walked right by. I'm like, go say hi to her. Go say hi to him. I mean, no, I can't. I'm like kind of like me with Weird Al Yankovic, like the 5 times I bumped into him, but I never had the guts to say hi to him. But I'm like, he's right here. He's like, just go talk to him. And she goes, no, I can't. And so I'm like, come on. So I grab her hand and I go over and I grab Nathan. I go, hey, Nathan. Hey, my name's John. Great to meet you. A big fan for a long time. This is Wendy. She's a big fan of yours too. And he was so nice. He was so nice and accommodating, because like some random Italian just grabs you in a crowd, that could be off-putting. But like, I kind of grab him and I'm like, hey, my name's John, big fan. I was like, this is Wendy. And he was so sweet and he was so nice and so accommodating. I just don't know how on earth you cannot be a fan of Nathan Fillion. But anyway, that all said, that's side story time is over. But yeah, I can't be a movie. It can't be a TV show, but maybe like a live action one, but maybe an animated one. An animated one I could see. I don't know what else it would be. And I certainly hope it's not just another comic book run, because you can't tease the fans with actually having the stars of the show running the social media tease and then have it be something like a comic book run. Hopefully it's something bigger, and it very well could be an animated series. I could totally see that. All right, guys. And that will do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in the questions. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it. And all of us involved with the show, thank you guys so very much for your support. Keep your guys open. We'll probably do an open mic on the weekend sometime, so keep your guys' eyes open for when we do that. Otherwise, we will see you back here again on Monday. Big thanks, of course, to writer, director, producer extraordinaire Robert Meyer Burnett. Big thanks to all of you guys for being here. My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.